Hi and welcome to The Practice Gap, the podcast for closing the gap between the practice you have and the one that you want. I'm Elizabeth, a chiropractor, a business owner, coach and entrepreneur on a mission to help you move from frustration and overwhelm to clarity, focus and joy in practice. Hi, Marius, and welcome to the studio today, or Marius Andresen from K8 Industrial Designers. Could you please start by telling the audience a little bit about yourself?
Short version. Thanks for having me. First time in a podcast studio, so this is cool. Yeah, me come from Østre Toten, by the biggest lake in Norway, Mjøsa. Family of 4. Now I live just up the road from you, here at Oslo. I'm an industrial designer. Studied in Oslo at the architecture school and in Paris a year. Started then K8 industrial design straight from school and done that ever since, plus other stuff.
So that's about 24. I heard you have an anniversary now that you're actually turning 25 years.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Or not you, but actually the company.
I feel about 25, so it's good.
There's a couple of reasons why I invited you to the studio. First of all, I would love to talk about our little joint venture. You are actually, I would say, classify you as the reason why even bbhugme ever came into production, or even went from a simple side sentence to an idea and to a real product. And the last podcast we had Hilde from the bbhugme team talk a little bit about our journey, but I think our journey actually started a little bit before bbhugme started. Could you talk a little bit about the start from a thought, a sentence, and to a product?
Yeah, wow. That's cool. I guess you're the reason I started. By chance, for those who don't know, we were located in the same building, you and I, by accident and luck.
You were actually in this office, weren't you?
Yeah. Actually, this we rented out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that's the thing. At that time, K8 and we had started 2-3 other startups together with other entrepreneurs. So this was a little entrepreneur hub, and I guess we were just in the mode for creating stuff, as we still are. And then you used to come up and with your apple in your hand, hello. Hi guys, I have this idea, I want to, have you looked at this? Then you came up with this square foam pillow that you used for pregnant women. So they could lie on their stomach. You weren't quite, you'd probably be using that for years, as I remember.
It was broken even.
Yeah, and it was really scruffy.
Yeah, and every time I had a patient on the bench, they were laying on this square pillow. And they were like, oh, this is so comfortable. Can I please borrow this home?
Exactly.
Or where can I get this pillow?
Can I borrow this ugly pillow?
Yeah.
No, but it was functional. And you had been using it for years. And you said, hey guys, couldn't you just redesign this so make it good looking and more functional? And we said, sure, no problem. We did our first attempt. Then when we thought we were done, at the time we had no deal.
No, we had no deal.
We did as we used to. We worked in trust.
It was actually like Marius came, he knocked on my door. Do you have a little time now? It was a Friday, and I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah, you talked about that pillow. Now we're a couple of guys up there, and they all wanted to hear about this thing.
Exactly. We had a go at just a redesign, and then we asked, should we find you a price so you know what you're like heading into, in terms of manufacturing and so on. That's a step from dealing with people, except you know how to build stuff. So what's the investment, timeline, all these things that you need to know. And he said, yeah, oh, it's okay, it's nice, it should do more. And I think that's where it started. Okay, do more? What do you mean? No, it should be more flexible, it should have all these different functions. And I think maybe we should have it also like a combined product. And that's when we started to have work meetings, figuring out what that should be. And that's what we call a specification of our product. What's the needs? I think that's interesting. This kind of became more dynamic. And I think that's for later on, for how we work, putting that into a system is important. But I love those situations when we just start, and then it evolves from there. From the outside, it seems pretty chaotic, I think, and risky, and this is without the plan. But I think you can get to a result pretty fast. And you know what you want. You've been in the business. We don't need to talk to 2,500 other people. But we had to verify it later on. I guess that was the starting point.
I was thinking about it. It was a super messy beginning, but it also was very fun. I think you might be one of the most creative people I've ever worked with, which is really fun. And I actually think you might have an even more fun job than me. I don't think about very often. For those things when you play with products and ideas and just go crazy with them, it's like having a workshop with there's no wrong guesses, no wrong ideas. This pillow should also be used as a backpack.
Yeah.
And it should be used the whole life from cradle to the grave, for a pillow for people who just got divorced and need a hug.
I went to an expo in Germany and I found this
sausage, hot dog,
worm, snake maybe.
Snake, yeah.
Soft snake, kind snake, that had a very limited function, but it was already there out. I think we hadn't come yet into all the detail in how we should have this product, and I thought, I'll ask, can I buy this? Yeah, sure. And I thought, I'll bring this home to Elizabeth. Because when you start with something, you have put on this set of glasses, you're going to look for solutions everywhere. And I think that's the fun part, you're in this mode for certain tasks. At least I'm like that. They say something to me and suddenly I have this new filter on my glasses. That's really fun. And then suddenly I had this kind snake with me home. And then that was the starting point we could start to play with. Then we can be creative and figure out and the size and the feeling and the textiles and everything. And suddenly, and should we alter it? Should it just be the same? And then starting to manufacturers. How is this made? Is it the quality we want? Blah, blah. All these things suddenly then you have something to start with. And then you can say, we don't want this, you can set it aside, or you can create onwards on it and developing it. That's also how the world works. When you say A, suddenly you open up this door to a new world and everything comes booming in. If you wanted to.
I think also that's why it's a good thing when you have an idea and you want to create something. Maybe you need different people in different times. If you're two structures, you would never start. I think you need, in the beginning phase, you need to just have fun and play. And then maybe something to come together. I think, at least for bbhugme, if we had started being super structured and figured out everything in the beginning, we would never have started.
Absolutely. I think most big things that have become something, if you knew all the pains and the risks and the torturing yourself through these processes and the hardship, I think no one would start anything. I guess that's how we are. We go for the positive side and let's start and see how it goes. That's very important. Otherwise, nothing will happen. And with experience, you know that there are things you need to structure. There are risks. You can take them down and maybe avoid some. But anyway, bbhugme was probably one of the first, one of three at the same time. When I came in the door downstairs, I started my day walking into this office and then the next office with another startup called within the medtech business. And then bbhugme product. And then myself on the top with K8 doing all kinds of other stuff for other clients. How
does your mind work when you jump from so many things? bbhugme on your one side of the brain, and then you have all these other projects, and then you're running a company. How do you structure that in your head?
Came to a point where we said, you need to find someone who can run the business for you. If you manage to find good people for running the businesses, and that's very important, then you can be more like a couch coach, not a couch. See perspective from the outside, what's happening, how we're doing. Because I always focused on mainly the product design part and the development and manufacturing and those things. But of course also financing. But you need people to do their jobs. And then it's fun to come and talk and play ball and discuss things. That's only like anything else. Going home, talking to my kids, being interested in what they do at that time when I sit down.
So present time consciousness.
Yeah, I think, it's not that. And of course you can be stressed. We've had that with entrepreneurs meeting, completely running into the wall, not handling the pressure. That's a different story. I'm a bit like you, I think. I can handle a lot of stuff going on. It doesn't look pretty.
That's the...
But myself, I can handle a lot of things going on at the same time. And I enjoy it. And that's the difference. If you're not that kind of person, it's madness. Yeah. It's stress, it's painful. And I think most people would maybe just go home and go under the duvet and stay there. But I'm not like that. So also we have done it.
What are some other products that the audience may know that you've made?
Maybe the biggest, most well-known is the Stokke Xplory that we developed for Stokke in 2002.
For those who don't know what that is, what is that?
Stokke Xplory is a stroller. The kind of
baby stroller.
Baby stroller that turn around the whole baby strolling business in a way. From only women rolling around with strollers in a romantic, old-fashioned style. The business has started to turn already, and Stokke mainly being in the sitting business with the Trip Trap and those fantastic products with designed by Peter Opsvik.
And could you just explain? I can explain what the Trip Trap is. Most people actually know what that is. It's a very famous chair for small children and toddlers that you can kind of change the size to the
But
kid.
it's not only that.
Oh, it's not only.
It grows with you until you're done. It follows you the whole life. So you can
actually, when you get really old,
you can stay with the same furniture your whole life if you want to. And that's the thing. It's
so I should never have sold the kids' Trip Trap chair.
No, never.
Out.
But that's the thing. Peter Opsvik, I think he's one of the greatest. He's one of my heroes, at least. So he creates stuff for involvement and movement. And Stokke wanted to bring that into a new area, and that was mobility for children. And being part of that for a very young company, we were super fresh out of school. For us, it was fantastic.
How did you end up to get that job?
It was competition. International competition, and we won that competition. Of course, we were super green and experienced. A lot happened in that story. But
how did you win that competition?
We probably delivered the best result. Or the most interesting. I won't brag about our drawing skills or fancy presentation at the time. When I look at them now, they're wow. But they saw something in our ideas that they want to work on. Hooray, we won the competition. We competed with huge companies out in Holland, and I think even Japanese companies, German companies, 200 people companies. And then we started building prototypes, testing out ideas. And the fun thing is still to see that wooden stick with wheels, where we tested out if this could be realized as in it met the regulations in terms of balance and weight. So we started there. So we made this concept of, woohoo, look at this, all the possibilities. And that's when you start verifying that idea with testing it on a slope, 30 degrees angle, stopping piece of wood, weight high up, thumbs up, let's move on. And that's how that kind of became a product.
How long did that take from the competition to the product?
It took basically 2.5, 3 years, and then the whole management and the product development team in Stokke was changed at least 2 or 3 times during that period. And then other people took over and finished the job. For me, it's a real learning story about people and how being treated by other people. But it's a longer story. And I think that the main thing is that it's been a fantastic success. Actually, we didn't know how to draw CAD drawings at the time.
What?
Computer-aided design. We didn't know how. In my company, we didn't know at the time. So that was pretty crazy.
It must be an amazing journey. 25 years ago here to technology in itself. How much has that changed your way of doing things?
A lot. At that time, 90, when we started the company in 98, we still, 3D printers had came, huge ones, big ones, wow, expensive. So at school they had printers, but you had to beg to use them and so on. So we still made our own models and prototypes by all these different tools. Milling machines, bandsaws, and jigsaws and so on. It took time, and now we just print 2 hours or 3 days later. Voila! We would never go back, and then you can choose qualities. Now,
does that mean that it goes faster to make a new product, or is it just change? And
not only faster, it takes down the risk. You know what you're doing.
Okay, so it changes the risk. That makes sense.
Yeah, so before you had to build as best as you can by the old-fashioned ways, design the tools, if it was injection molding, for example, and then wait and then do adjustments. Back in the days, you put in some more tolerances and built in some security in your planning probably in a different way, but now you can work in a different way to hit the target faster and then launch a product faster. I'm not sure if it's sustainably better for the world.
What do you mean?
I think now there's so much production and ideas and that people can just make that we maybe not need. But it's just fun ideas, and it's fun, but not useful, and absolutely not sustainable. So I think we're shooting ourselves in the head by having these fantastic tools. I mean, I don't want to limit it to just people like me should use them, but, but I see that, let's make this fun little troll, order 250 million of them in a container from China. I'm not sure if it just brings us into a better space.
That makes sense, and it takes me a little bit back to the interview we had the last time, where you really have to work on if there's a need. Is there a need for the product? Is there a gap? Is there something missing in this world? Are you making the world a better place with your product?
I think that's a very important question to ask yourself before you start making anything. And we try to do that, obviously, in our case, with bbhugme.
That was a pretty easy one.
It's a pretty easy one. Still, you can always be better at something. And that's sourcing, ecology, sustainability, and even just making the product better for the people, like evolving it. But helping people... Obviously, sleeping better at night, it brings the world into a beautiful place.
Sleep is actually it's super important because it goes every kind of life, quality of life, and also health benefits is from sleep.
Yeah.
And
we know people go crazy from not being able to sleep. That was no big question. But for other products, it's a question whether this product should be made at all, I think. And then some things we just are used to having there, but I love the fact that some companies, they reuse some of our designs, at least. For example, bottles that we made back in early 1999, and they're still there. It started with a Swedish company owned by a Norwegian company. The brand was Bob. Billig, cheap and cheerful maybe. It's a good Bob. Billig og bra.
Yeah. Cheap and good.
Cheap and good, yeah. So
it's a terrible name for a brand.
It's like perfect family.
Actually, it's not bad.
And it's actually a high quality product. And then they had it standing in Sweden. But then let's try this bottle in Norway. And I love the fact that then you put that in a different market and different brand, and then they tried that around, except they didn't have the same quality products they want to sell in Norway. So I think that bottle was on 4 products. And then it was still only in Sweden for the same time. After 25 years, I go in I have a cabinet in Sweden, and I go into the shops there, and there you are. 25 years, unchanged. And I think that's I love that they don't change. I don't want a new job for them on that bottle.
So you actually made then 25 years ago a bottle that cheap and good still use, and it's still in the stores.
Yeah.
That's a really
and I just hope it's going to stay there for another 25.
That's really sustainable. That really then it fills a need, and it doesn't have to be. That's a beautiful thing.
That's good business.
That's a good invested money for them at the first part.
They're very good business people.
What's another product that some of the audience may know?
Oh, I think we should take the ones we had here.
Yeah.
We started Bright Products, which is solar driven lamp and charger for off-grid people. So it started with K8. We took also part of a competition at that time with. So
every other project than bbhugme was a competition. And I was just hijacked.
You hijacked me.
Oh yeah, that was right. I hijacked you then.
Yeah, we had a lot of competitions. That's typical for a lot of companies. I'm not that happy with competitions anymore. I guess I'm getting old. That was also a competition, but not in a sense a real competition, because it was more like saying, could I be part of this? I cried my way into this setting with Beyond Risør. It's a small town. It's a meeting place for designers and the municipality and industry to meet and then create something, which was a fantastic idea.
Wow,
And then I went down there in 2008. I was blown away because I thought it was like, it's just a place to meet and greet and drink and have fun.
You went down to this little beautiful town in the coast of Norway, and you have an inventor convention or industrial...
design meets industry, organized by the municipality.
So how many people show up to an event like this?
A couple of hundred, maybe.
A couple of hundred industrial designers.
Designers in general, furniture designers.
Okay, so it can be any kind of...
The whole design community.
Just let me stop you there. What's the difference between an industrial designer and any other designer? I don't know.
I would say if you're a graphic designer or UX or UI, digital.
Yeah,
digital,
UX, what is UX?
User experience. And today, before you had graphic designers, when I started, graphic designers, they did things in 2 dimensions, printed on screen, web pages, brochures, books, blah, blah, all this. Actually, books become 3D. And that's a certain skill. Then you don't work with except paper and colors.
And so if you're a chiropractor and somebody makes your webpage, she's the designer.
Yeah, that's the web designer, graphic designer. Then
Yeah.
industrial designers, product designers work with objects, mechanics, people interaction, how to use it. All the way you have to understand manufacturing, sustainability, reuse, maintenance, reparation, distribution, the Euro palette.
Okay, so you have to hold the whole, have to know the whole journey.
Yeah, and it's quite complex. So not to offend anyone.
We'll have you back for one more episode. We're going to talk about the exact journey. So if I have a colleague who sits there, or there's this person from the audience, I have the best idea in the world. I want to call up. I want to have a competition, and I want Marius to actually make this product for me. I would love that we're going to talk about the whole start from A to Z.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Yeah.
So that we're going to do for the next podcast. To sum up a little bit, this episode here. Beginnings of project can be quite structured, or it can be super messy. But most of the time you have to keep an open mind to play with ideas and let them grow, throw ball, and to let your creativity flourish.
Yeah, I'd say so. You need to have fun on the way.
Fun
you
is a
need
good
the right people. So you have to have fun with the right people that understands what you're doing and can maybe be a bit different than yourself. We need some devil's advocates saying, should we do this? Should we test this with someone? I'm messing up your summing up now.
No, keep on going.
Because the biggest mistake, that's a rule actually in my 25 years experience. The biggest mistake is when you have entrepreneurs or inventors of ideas not being corrected on their journey.
Yeah.
If they're that good that they say, I believe in this and it have to be like this and I know this, and we go on, and if they also have the skill of getting money and people on board on that without correction, very dangerous.
I think that's maybe why me and Hilda and Christine worked really good together. Because in the beginning it was just you and me. We just played with crazy ideas. That was really fun, and it was totally unstructured. And the three of us hadn't even decided that we should even go for this project. But then when we did decide, when we brought the crazy hot dog and all the thoughts around it, then it was wonderful to have Hilda, who's super structured.
Yeah.
And then Ann-Christine, who is so into design and beauty and so optimistic and so pushing forward. So if we hadn't had you and the company get started to help us build, it would have just stopped right there. I would have just, I'm out of here. This is too much. I just paid my last pay. I'm leaving this ship. And then it's like just wonderful also. Everyone has to be able to let go and take the next, like you need all kind of personalities.
Exactly.
And that's the same for a clinic. You need all kind of personalities really to flourish and grow. And you have to know what I'm good at and what you are super good. And you have to just let that other person bloom a little bit.
Yeah, and they have to take responsibility for what they are good at. I think that we did that in a quite good way in bbhugme. And I remember at the beginning we thought we could do everything. And we were only men developing this product. I think that's interesting.
It was interesting.
So
it was
only men doing this Stokke Xplory at the beginning. Of course, we just become dads, so we were pretty soft and ready to create something that would fit also. But we had a suggestion of the cover, colorful stripes, I remember. And Hilde said, this just reminds me of my dad's socks. And I guess then it didn't become anything. So yeah, how to kill ideas. Yes. Thanks, Hilde. But I guess she was right. And working with the brand, because we didn't have that at the time. So
that was
and then
the Scandinavian design group,
which was really good.
Yeah.
She was very dedicated, and having that come together with the whole building that aura of brand,
and that was
looking really nice.
Like for our journey, it was first the product. First it was like crazy idea, messy, and then you get the structure, and then you get the design group. Then you start working with the brand, the web page. Yeah, the web page, and
suddenly the world
logo.
says, "Oh, it's a company."
Yes.
Looking really professional. And that's that sense of looking professional. You could keep it under the radar for so long, and some people should do that for a long time. This was a pretty fast-moving project. Then it's nice to be out there and telling the world, here we are, and looking professional, not just some homemade stuff, because spending money on that is
and that was quite expensive, and that was like everyone was like, "Whoa, that was quite expensive." I'm super happy that we did all those with these wonderful people, and usually good people.
Yeah.
And also just finding the name, that was quite a long time into the process. First of us, we played just me and you for the first year and a half. When people say it's like bbhugme is 10 years, yeah, but then we played a bit before.
Absolutely.
But then when we sat down, it was Hilde, me, and Ann-Christine, and you, and we played with what should this name be.
Yeah.
For that meeting, we've been talking for a long time, and I think that was a super important part of the journey, to have a good name to explain.
Absolutely.
The philosophy of the brand.
It's interesting about the name, because how you can say it and spell it. Now we work in the energy field with another company. We just made jokes about this yesterday, because all the companies we either research, work with, or they have a Y, E, all these vowels, and they almost sound the same, all of them. So when we talk about them, we go, "Oh no, what do you mean? You mean this company? No, this guy." And it's interesting how it's like a consensus of 5 letters, and they're almost the same, just mixed up in a different setup. Very confusing. Someone should stand out, and I think bbhugme stands out. That's cool.
Very good. I am so happy. It's wonderful. I love talking to you, Marius. It's super inspiring. I can't wait. Our next podcast we're going to record. It's going to be fun, and hopefully it's going to be a lot of inspiration for all of those you out there who want to make a product yourself.
Thanks for having me. See you soon.
See you soon.